Hey y'all, I'm T the Brand, Lash Marketing Mentor. I help lash artists become lash marketers because marketing builds clientele. You are listening to the Powerhouse Lash podcast, and I hope that something in this episode makes your lash journey a little bit easier.
Hey y'all, hey, I hope that this episode finds you well. I've been seeing a lot in the Facebook groups that I'm in and on Instagram and on threads whenever I hop on the app that a lot of lash artists have been experiencing a slow season. And as we know, it's always slow kind of coming out of the summertime right into back to school. And then when we get to the holiday season, November, December, it starts to pick back up because everybody wants their lashes done for the holidays. So I am praying an abundance of clientele for everyone this season. I wanted to create this episode because it's been a while since I've shared my story and how I became T the Brand lash marketing mentor. And over since the last time I've made a video or a podcast about my story and my journey as a lash artist, I've had a lot of just different things that I've done within my lash career, from training to mentoring and all the things. And also, lost my train of thought. Come on. Anyway, it's time to just more followers on Instagram, people who I've met in person at LashCon or just found me on the internet, more subscribers to the podcast, and more subscribers on YouTube. So I just want to go back to the beginning and kind of catch you guys up, and hopefully something that I share or say through my story and my journey will encourage you to keep going, because we are in a very unique industry. People can sometimes, or oftentimes, depending on who you're surrounded by, minimize the career of a lash artist. And it's projected by 2028, which is only 4 years almost from now, that this industry is going to be worth about $2.38 billion. There is money in the industry for everybody. So keep going and drown the noise out, block the noise out, get serious and focused about where it is that you want to go in your business, and make sure that when you're making steps and decisions for your business, you're choosing the things that are going to help you kind of right now get to the next spot, and not necessarily working on things that are down the line and you have a whole bunch of other things to do in the process. But I believe in you. I'm rooting for you, because I've seen for myself what the power of never giving up can do for a lash business. So let's get to it. Okay, so I first want to explain T the Brand. So my name is Tiara. So obviously the T comes from that. But in regards to the brand, that wasn't new to me or to what I was doing my entrepreneur career or whatever, when I became a lash artist. So back in 2017, I started a heels dance class for women, and the goal was fun, fitness, and fellowship. And so I would choreograph these dances, host these classes, and the ladies would come. We would have a great time. We would get a good workout in. We would have these sister circles where we would just sit and talk and kind of confide in each other and encourage each other like that. So that's where T the Brand was birthed. Before I started that class, I had done dance training camps for high school students, because in my collegiate years, I was a Black Fox in the Marching Storm marching band at the Prairie View A&M University. So I was training high school dancers, and then I did Mary Kay. I was a Mary Kay consultant in college. So I'm like, okay, T is a brand. Like, I do all of these things. So that's how T the Brand came over into my lash space. So before I became a lash artist, I was a social worker. I have a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in social work. And I also am a licensed master social worker. That license opened up more doors for me to do the things that I wanted to do in the social work field, such as like counseling slash therapy. And my first job, I was actually director of social services at a nursing and rehab facility, and that license was required for that. So you needed that license to get in anywhere for any job, pretty much. So that's what I was doing. At the time, right before I became a lash artist, I was a middle school social worker, and so what I was doing was basically like little therapy sessions or whatever for children on my caseload, student on my caseload at the school that I was working at. And when COVID hit, I laughed a little bit because I was already looking for another space to get into in my career, because I just saw a lot in the education system just with the school that I was at, and it's sad to see how administrators really care more about the numbers and test scores than they do about the children's well-being. And I guess that's their job, but my job was to care about students, and so whatever, I'm glad I was there to help those that I did. So COVID hit, and nobody was going to school. I got a call maybe, I think April, early April, from my principal letting me know that the position, the social work position at the school, was going to be cut for the next school year. And that school year would have been 2020, 2021. So they wouldn't have a social worker at the school. And it wasn't really a huge problem for me or to me because I was ready to get up out of there anyway for so many reasons. And I was already looking and applying other places. So I on through the contract, I would be paid through August of 2020, which was no problem. I had time to find a new job and relax a little bit and all the things. And that's what I did. So from April 2020 to January 2021, I was applying for social work jobs, but I'm gonna fill y'all in on how that process went. So it first started off, I was just applying for jobs at different schools doing what I was already doing. And then I realized, okay, I don't really want to work for a school or be staffed through a school because they expect you to do whatever they want you to do and not your job. And the district had a social work department where you just had different schools or like feeder schools, and you would go to those schools and work with the students on that caseload. And I would have had more flexibility. I wouldn't have had to be in the building all day, doing lunch duty and carpool duty and all of that stuff that didn't serve students from me as a social worker. So that's what I was doing, trying to get out of there. So I was applying to jobs all through the summertime, and I wasn't only applying for jobs within my district. I was applying for other kind of social work jobs, and I was either not getting a job, not getting the jobs, not getting responses from the jobs, or if I did get an offer, it was for like $32,000. um, and I'm like, with 2 degrees and a license? No, if I'm a struggle, I'm a struggle another way kind of situation. That's just where I was at. That's what I was thinking. And so I was on FaceTime with my friends in July of 2020, and just randomly, and when I say randomly, for me at the time it was random, but hindsight is 2020. And looking back, that was a total God move because I knew nothing about lash extensions. I did not wear lash extensions. I had only had them twice. And I followed no lash artists, no lash pages. Like the lash industry was nowhere in my world, in my space, in the present or on social media. So I told them, I think I want to learn how to do lash extensions. They were like, okay, go for it. They're super supportive. And I can't wait until I can hire them and pay them back for all of the work that they've already done to help me grow my business the last few years. So I tell them that one day, and the very next day, a class popped up on my timeline to train for lash extensions. And I was like, either this is creepy and the government just be listening, which I think they do, or this is just a sign that this is the move that I need to make. So I did a little research, took a lash training in August. Now, with my lash training, it wasn't a good training. And I try to be careful with that because of who trained me. But it was not a good training. Like, my tools were poor. I was told that isolation was going to slow me down. And, he could tell that I was a perfectionist. And he didn't say this in an ugly way at all. Super sweet person, super kind person. I appreciate the training so much because it got me started in my career. So I'm not shading it at all. I'm just being very honest about it. A lot of us get trainings and they're poor trainings, which leads to us not being able to get and keep clients, and then we burn out and quit the industry. So it's just the truth. The training was trash. And I learned very little. So that was in August, and I wasn't planning to do anything with the lashes really. Like, this was just supposed to be a side hustle for me to make a little change, keep me busy, have a little side hustle until I got my next job in my career field. So that was the plan. So I started like taking models, working on friends, family, random people who found me on Facebook or who were on Facebook that I was friends with or whatever, on Instagram, who wanted to get their lashes done and were willing to let me try. And I sucked so bad, as we all do. It took me a lifetime, the longest set of my life. I think she got there at 6 o'clock. She was also the worst client that I've ever had. Like, her leg, she got bored or either tired or something, but she like had her legs up to the ceiling at one point, opening her eyes, trying to show me pictures of her son while I'm working on her lashes. It was horrible. It was horrible. But anyway, so I'm doing lashes, and around September, I start going to a new esthetician for my waxes. So we're talking and everything. I let her know I do lashes. And she just asked what I did. We were just meeting. So we're just talking, and she asked me, was I licensed? I told her no. And then she recommended that I go check out a school that was downstairs in her building. So I'm like, okay, I'll go check them out before I leave. Stopped by the school. They gave me a tour, gave me information, gave me pricing. And I was like, oh my God, I have to do this. And here I am going from this just a side hustle, I'm not going to take this serious, to the type of person that I am. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And we did it. So 2 months after I took my training, I was enrolled in a cosmetology program for a specialty lash license. So of course, at this point, I'm still lashing. I had a cousin who had a space, and in her space, it was like a double suite. So she did taxes out of one office, and then she had another room that she would do massages in. And so she let me know, one day she came to my apartment for me to do her lashes. And she let me know, like, hey, you should get in a space. I got a space that I don't really use until tax season. So you can get in there and you don't have to pay me nothing until you're able to, build your clientele and build your coins up. So I'm like, cool. Now, when I started lashing, I did say my cousin came to my apartment, and that's where everybody came. Was it scary? Yes. Did I find it weird? Yes. But I was, practicing and just doing what I had to do to get along. And so I had a 1 bedroom apartment. I set my lash bed, and I would say ring light up and everything there, but I didn't even have a ring light. Y'all had a $5 clip-on lamp from Walmart that I would use. Thank you, God. I had a clip-on lamp from Walmart that I would use. I did not start off with a chair. I had these little like decorative boxes that you could store stuff in. I would sit on one of those to do lashes, and it would hurt my back and my butt and my legs so bad. So I thought a pillow would help. Then I got like a regular little desk chair, and that took me down for a while. But I was doing what I had to do, just kind of building and buying things as I could. But yeah, I started with I didn't have fancy equipment, and that's what I tell lash artists now. We spend a lot of money in the beginning, like stocking up on all the lash curls and diameters and lengths, and stocking up on the best of the best, or because you really do need good tweezers. But you go buy the $50 tweezers because you feel like that's what you're supposed to have, when there are tweezers for $9.95 on Amazon that are good. If y'all want these $9.95 tweezers from Amazon, send me a DM and I will absolutely send you the link for them. My handle for Instagram is Powerhouse Lashes by TTB. So find me, hit me up, ask for the link, and I'm gonna send it to you, because those are some amazing tweezers, especially if you're on a budget. So yeah, I had very poor quality everything, poor quality lashes, poor quality tweezers, poor quality glue. Like, the struggle was real. So I'm in school now, and I'm like, okay, I'm going full time. However, I do also have this suite that I'm working in, and I kind of had a little clientele. Thank you. First of all, thank you to the people who started with me that are still with me, and thank you for the people who started with me. And I mean, they don't come no more, some of them, but I'm still very grateful. So yeah, in school, and I'm going full time. However, I'm only going to school for theory, like my classes. So I would go in, do my classes on Monday. The rest of the week, I'm at my studio lashing, and I would just have to like send pictures and videos to my instructor or show them to her at class so she could check off my assignments and everything. So that's October. Now, from October to January is where we are. December 2020, I got a notification on Indeed that another school district was had an opening for the job that I had wanted. That was for me to basically be like a mobile social worker. I would be hired through the actual social work department, and I would have these different schools that I would go to and all the things. So I did my first interview December 2020, and then they called me back for a second interview in January 2021. And I was like, okay, God, before the second interview, I'm like, okay, if I don't get this job, I'm going to trust that you want me to go full time with Lashes. And never in my dreams would I have thought that I would not have gotten that job and actually had to commit to going full time with Lashes, because God, I said that's what I would do. And I just felt like if social work wasn't it anymore, that's just what he had placed in my hands and wanted me to nurture and cultivate. So I did not get the job. So I swallowed that pill and I'm like, you know what? It's time to get moving. So January, I did a photo shoot. I had 4 models. I made some strip lashes of a classic hybrid volume and mega volume set. Put them strips on. I paid a makeup artist to, do the makeup, put the strips on, did the photo shoot. And I just knew, because that's what it looks like on Instagram. You do a photo shoot and you let everybody know, and then everybody finna be lined up outside your door, busting your booking site down to get their lashes done. And that's what I was expecting to happen. And y'all, the complete opposite happened. The clientele did not just magically grow because I had a photo shoot. So I had spent money. I spent money. I paid the MUA. I paid the photographer. Of course, I had to like invest my time to make the lash strips and everything. It was nothing like what I expected it to be. And so at the time, I found this girl on Instagram, and she was like a lash coach. And so her post would like hit me in my guts about learning how to market, learning how to brand. So I kind of started out slow. First, I bought this ebook that she had, and then I bought this class that she had. I think the class was like $200 something, and I didn't have $200, but I bought it because I didn't have $200. And I'm like, if I am not getting lash clients by doing it the way that I know how, which really wasn't much of anything at all, then why not invest in somebody else who knows what they're doing and who can teach me how to get more lash clients? So that's what I did. So I invested in that class. A couple of months later, she dropped another class and a mentorship program. Now, this other class was like a level up from the first class that I bought. That was $200 something. This class was $500, almost $600, and I sure didn't have it. But I put it on a credit card, and I said, okay, she is talking to the people who don't want a booking site no more, and they want a website. Like, it's time to grow. It's time to do it. And so that's what I did. And I joined her mentorship program. I paid $30 a month to do the sessions and everything. And it was cool. I learned a lot. However, I still struggled a lot through the mentorship program and after the mentorship program. She was the kind of mentor who would give you only enough information and let you struggle to figure out the rest of it, or struggle to figure out how to apply it. And she would also kind of, if the things that you wanted to do with your business took you out of her target audience, she would kind of discourage you from doing those things and not really give you an answer to the question that you had asked. So I knew, like, okay, I'm starting to feel like I'm second guessing myself, like this isn't for me. And so I left the mentorship program. However, I'm like, okay, I've left the mentorship program. I do still have all of this information. And this is where my lane, my love for the lash industry and being a lash mentor came in at. I had a lot of information, but I did not know how to use it. I knew what a target audience was. I had created the target audience. I knew how to create a brand identity. I had created my brand identity. I had marketing tips. I had content creation tips. But there, if you just have information with no way to apply it, then you just have information and that gets you nowhere. So, man, a lot of what I know now and learned how to apply stuff, and it's still happening now. Like the last month has been crazy. God has just been things that I've still been trying to figure out how to master with marketing and understand for content creation and all the things. I've been praying about this stuff, and he's been giving me the answers to it, but he's giving me the answers to these things after I've started to do some work. So we'll get to that. But anyway, so took the class and everything, got out the class, and I'm like, okay, I'm still struggling. And from there, I had more information. I knew the things, but I didn't really know how to work the things. So I wasn't getting really any more lash clients. I was not making lash money. And so a few people had asked me to teach them how to do lashes. So if I'm not getting money by doing lashes, I can make money as a lash trainer. So that's what I did. I did my first training, I think in September of 2021. And I'm like, you know what? I'm that girl. I know what I'm doing. And and we're about to start training.